go see the Mean Girls sequel in theaters? Honey, we have the Mean Girls sequel at home. The Mean Girls sequel at home. Yes, before there was the Mean Girls musical sequel remake, there was Mean Girls 2. A movie that's so horrifyingly bad, I can say quite confidently, it is in the running for worst movie made of all time. Why is it so bad? I'm glad you ask. Let's discuss it in a handy-dandy list format. Jo, I'm not like other girls. Our main character is Jo. You may recognize her as Tess from Camp Rock. Jo is not like other girls. And this movie really wants you to know that. She fixes cars. She takes advanced woodshop. And she hates drama. She's not like other girls. Other girls would bully a poor innocent girl who has had food thrown in her face and then photos sent to the entire school, but not Jo. Jo is different. And she's awful. We are supposed to root for her as the audience members, but no part of me wants to. She's as one-dimensional as they come, and she's our main character. Nothing is unique or special about her besides her incessant need to narrate everything.
Ignore the pigtails. I was more naive back then.
And to remind you that she's a unique flower in a sea of basic girls. Her dad and her move around a lot because he fixes cars for NASCAR, even though you do not see a race car in this entire movie. In fact, in his garage, there's only one car that looks like any car that you could have pulled off the street literally anywhere. Just a side note. Well, she's the new girl, like Katie, at North Shore High. And she has rules for herself whenever she moves to new schools. And her rules are to never make friends, never get a boyfriend, and never ever be involved in drama. So she's just like kind of a miserable person, basically. Well, she gets a lot of attention her first couple days of school for being nice to Abby, this loser girls that the plastics bully, and she stands up to the plastics. So the girls think she's cool and the guys think she's so hot. She's hotter than the plastics. Oh no. And which annoys her because she doesn't like attention, and which makes the plastics mad because they will never be number 2 to anyone. So the plastics decide to try and invite her to their group and keep her away from Abby the loser girl because they don't want to be number 2. But guess what? Plot twist, everyone. Compared to Mean Girls 1, she declines their invite because, everyone, she's not like other girls. Wow. This movie really throws twists and turns at you. Gone Girl who? So that's Jo. Now, who are the plastics? Part 2, the plastics. The plastics in this movie are one-dimensional cartoon character Mean Girls. You remember how in the original Mean Girls, Katie realizes that the plastics also have flaws and are just like her, and that they are essentially just people? And you know how each plastic had their own insecurities and was believable as a person that you could actually meet in real life? Yeah, there's none of that here, not even a little bit. They're just really evil, and they want you to know that they're really evil. Mandy, who's the main Regina girl, at one point throws away her dog. What? So for the plastics, there's Mandy, Chastity, and a girl whose name was so forgettable I did not know her name until the end of the movie. Her name's Hope. Mandy is the Regina, emphasis on quotations. She's obsessed with being number 1, and she will do anything to stay number 1, and that includes doing a series of wacky plans to keep her place on top. And those plans, of course, include paintballing a girl's car and hacking the video announcement system. You know, like how the kids did at your school. Also, side note, for some reason, all the kids in the school just stand in the hallway and watch the announcements on one very small television. I don't even know where to begin with that. What school does that? There's like 100 kids in this hallway watching a 24-inch plasma screen TV. It's just bizarre. Back to the point, it's just not realistic at all to how Mean Girls actually act. Remember when Regina tells her that she likes that girl's skirt and then remarks to Katie afterwards that was the skirt that she's ever seen? That's mean. And that's realistic. That is something a mean girl would actually do in real life. What we're seeing here is a collection of Tom and Jerry pranks set in a high school. Next we have Chastity. Her name is supposed to be ironic because she will hook up with any guy in the school. And that's her bit. There's also a lot of slut shaming in this movie. She's also the Karen type role. Her character's like really dumb, but not in a fun dumb like Karen's character was, just like a dumb. For example, the writers tried to make her deliver a joke similar to the "if you're from Africa, why are you white" joke about exchange students, but didn't even read like a joke. Like, it just falls completely flat.
Jo Mitchell, she's in my bio class. Somebody said she came somewhere from like Florida or Texas. Then I also heard that she's an exchange student from Russia.
Oh, what did they exchange her for?
It's just bad. And then we have the forgettable Hope. She's supposed to be like the Gretchen, I guess, but she doesn't really have any Gretchen-like qualities. Her whole thing is that she's afraid of germs because she got mono from a drinking fountain once. Her character doesn't do much in the entire film besides freak out over germs and agree with whatever Mandy says, and that's basically it. It was like in the writer's room, they were like, "Oh, we need a third character, what do we do?" And some guy from the back shouted, "What if she was afraid of germs?" And they're like, "Wow, that's perfect." And they made that her only character trait. Part 3. Is this a Disney Channel original movie? Is this a Disney Channel original movie? Great question. I wouldn't blame you for thinking it is one. For one, it has Tess from Camp Rock, Harper from Wizards of Waverly Place, the girl from Cory in the House, Macy from Jonas, and Emma from H2O as its lead characters. It's a real who's who of 2000s kids television, but no, it's not. And the movie makes sure to remind you every once in a while by throwing in an occasional slut that throws you way off course and reminds you that you're not watching a Disney Channel film. Because honestly, if there wasn't the occasional curse word, this could just be a direct-to-DVD kids film. For example, let's talk about one of the serious emotional moments in the movie. That is when the plastics spill coffee down a car that Joe's father was working on. Joe comes home and her father's upset in tears because the car is now ruined because of the coffee. This makes Joe emotional, get angry, and confront the plastics in person. That's the emotional moment. Other Camp Rock High School Musical-esque like moments include the creation of the anti-plastics. Joe's rival gang, who has colored streaks in their hair, so you know that they're different. Another Disney Channel moment is the film's ending with a flag football game that the girls use a variety of hijinks to win. The flag football game also has no significance on the plot whatsoever. It's just there. Before the flag football game, Joe is literally kicked out of school for being framed for stealing money that was supposed to go to charity. And literally mid-expulsion, she's in the hallway and she challenges Mandy to a flag football game. And the principal's there and just doesn't say anything. So you think, oh, so this is where the plot's going. She's gonna fight to get unexpelled through this flag football game. But no, they just played flag football. I honestly think a Disney Channel movie has better writing. In High School Musical, for example, they have to perform their callbacks on the same day as the science decathlon and the high school basketball game. There's tension building up as you see if they can make it to the callback in time. In Camp Rock, Mitchie's banned from the final jam, but she wants to prove to Shane that she's the voice he heard singing. How will she get on stage? In Teen Beach Movie, they literally have to find a way to escape the musical movie before they become part of it. There's no tension in this movie. Every possible problem is solved within 5 minutes. If you like movies that are a bunch of nothing wrapped in a Kidz Bop bow, then turn on your HBO Max immediately, because this is the film for you. Why is Abby the loser? So very early on, we're introduced to Abby and we're basically told that she's a loser. Everyone in school hates her, Mandy especially. So they do what they can every day in school to make her life a living hell. That includes paintballing her car, spilling food on her, mass texting embarrassing photos to everyone, and hacking into the video announcements to put those photos on. And everyone laughs at her and hates her. Sad, right? Well, why does everyone hate her? Because she's like the richest person in the world. Yes, that's right. That's her flaw. So her dad's like the Billy Mays of this universe and is a super famous infomercial salesman. They own an insanely big house and she gets literally anything she wants. They are so rich, the dad literally bribed Joe to be Abby's friend by offering to pay for her college tuition. No, not just like a books or anything, her entire college tuition to Carnegie Mellon. And all this pisses Mandy off because she's not the richest, she's the second richest. And honestly, this whole plot is insane. How am I supposed to feel bad for this girl? How am I supposed to believe no one would befriend this girl? Not even like a fake friendship to use her stuff. This man offered to pay someone's college tuition. Like, girlies, go run. Be friends with Abby. Get your money. What I liked. So I'm being quite negative, so I'll share what I liked. I liked that the principal from the first movie was back, but I felt really bad that he had to be in the movie. What else? I like that the love story. There's a confusing love story in this movie between Not Like Other Girls Joe and this guy named Tyler. Tyler is played by the guy from Scream Queens and Rock of Ages. He starts off the movie by being extremely sexist towards Joe and insinuating that she doesn't know how to build even though she's an advanced wood shop, and telling her to decorate the birdhouse that they were building. Also, there's a shot they reused like 3 times in the span of 1 minute. Like, the narration was going on too long and the editor realized that he didn't have enough shots of this moment, so he just kept reusing the same frames over and over and over, hoping no one noticed. But I noticed. Tyler then realizes she's not like other girls because she can build and she doesn't make fun of Abby, and Joe literally says in the movie that she's not like other girls.
Do I look like most girls?
And so he starts to like her and her not like other girlsness. And then she starts to also fall for him, which is very bizarre because so far we have not seen literally any likable traits from this guy whatsoever. He literally hangs out with the rude popular boys and is sexist. There's no reason for her to like him. And the actors do not have chemistry either. Let me make that very clear. It is dry, like the Sahara Desert. But she does like him. And he likes her, so they go on a date. But they don't show us any footage of the date. They just show us like this PowerPoint slideshow of photos of them hanging out. And it looks like a stock photo shoot. It's very weird. And on this date, Joe confesses she's a virgin and that she's never kissed anyone before. But it turns out it was being secretly recorded and the next day is broadcasted on the TV. Because this school just has like zero control over itself. Like, no one got in trouble for that. So, oh no, he was a bad guy. And now we have some plot development. We have some reason for her to be angry, maybe to go against the plastics. No, solved within 5 minutes once again. No, it turns out he was using Mandy's car because Mandy is his stepsister. And then Nick, his friend that's dating Mandy, secretly put a recording device in the car without him knowing. And then Tyler goes and beats up Nick in front of everyone in the cafeteria, so Joe's okay with it. I'm sorry, what? Is that not the most convoluted plot explanation you've ever heard in your entire life? They then break up once again when it's revealed that Joe was being paid to be Abby's friend, which she did not take the money. But it was like college tuition money, mind you, so I really don't see the harm. But he only gets back with her literally, once again, 5 minutes later when he finds out that Joe did not actually take the money from Abby's father. College tuition money, mind you! $50,000! Their relationship is literally so boring and does nothing at all to further the plot in the slightest. While Aaron Samuels is literally the catalyst for the reason that Katie wants to get revenge on the plastics, Tyler is literally unimportant. Mandy has no interest in Tyler because that's her stepbrother. None of the other plastics are allowed to even think Tyler's cute because Mandy has a rule that no one's allowed to date her brother. So there's really no importance to the plot whatsoever, that this character is just useless. Mean Girls and Mean Girls 2 similarities. Now, how is this movie similar to Mean Girls? Great question. It takes place at North Shore High School. The principal from the first movie is in it. The Mean Girls are called the Plastics, but they call themselves the Plastics. And one of them is dumb. There's a scene where everyone copies Joe's paint splattered shirt, like when everyone copies Regina's bra top. And that's when the similarities end. Yes, this movie is a blatant cash grab with very little resemblance to its superior sister film, if you could call it that. Its distant cousin film? What Mean Girls did that Mean Girls 2 could never. Mean Girls was known for its quotable lines and realistic depictions of mean girls in high school. Mean Girls 2 has neither. The clothes in Mean Girls are iconic, even 20-something years later. Mean Girls 2 has some of the ugliest clothes I've ever seen in my life. It looks like the costumer was the same costumer that did the Shake It Up clothing. They are literally so ugly. The characters in Mean Girls are relatable. You know, everyone has talked crap about someone before. There are mean girls in every school. I think very few people relate to a girl being a multi-millionaire. How would I fix it? I know, everyone's dying to know, how would I fix this movie? Thank you for asking. Well, we're gonna do a complete overhaul. Thank you very much. Joe can just be a girl. I know, crazy idea, right? She really doesn't need to try so hard to be different from the other girls. She can just be kind to Abby, and that's that. Let's get rid of the internalized misogyny. Why don't we? Honestly, let's just get rid of the internalized misogyny and blatant sexism of this movie altogether. The message of Mean Girls was literally that we shouldn't treat girls poorly and we shouldn't use names like slut towards them. Yet Mean Girls 2 goes and does absolutely all of that. I just imagine that the writer's room for this movie was a bunch of men trying to figure out how to relate to teenage girls and absolutely failing miserably. Honestly, let's add dimension to the characters, why don't we? Big idea. What if Mandy was a realistic mean girl for a change? What if she had a insecurity or redeemable quality even? I mean, why do people in this school follow her? Why would her friends want to be her friends? These are just some of the questions I believe writers should be asking before their first draft, let alone the finished product. Let's just rewrite the character of Chastity completely, so she's not a quote-unquote, emphasis on quotes, joke about how her name's Chastity and she just likes hooking up with people. Once again, completely missing the point of the first movie. What if she just had like any other quirk? Like, what if she liked cats? And what if she just walked around carrying a cat in her bag at all times? What about that? That's quirky. And at least this movie would be like 10 times more enjoyable because there would be a cat on the screen at least. Also, let's get rid of Abby's multimillionaire plot, shall we? I know that Abby being a multimillionaire drives the plot of the original story, but maybe you need a new plot if your plot hinges on the fact that one of your characters is so rich that money comes out of their eyeballs when they cry. If she was poor and being bullied, we would have a lot more sympathy for her, you know? That would be someone to root for. I'm not going to root for the girl with a Prada bag and Billy Mays as her father and a Mercedes Benz. I'm not going to do it. And once again, I would cut the love interest or at least give him any likable qualities or significance or reason to exist. Why should we like this guy? We really only see him just be sexist towards women the entire time. Am I supposed to find this man attractive only because the actor is hot? I'm telling you, this whole movie was written by a majority men. There's just no way around it. So, my overall note would be just rewrite the entire thing. Start from scratch. Let's do draft number 2. Conclusion. Don't watch this movie. There are better things to do, like a root canal or watching paint dry. Thank you for 600 subscribers. Oh my god. That's literally so much. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for watching.